You know, I think this guy should have gone to therapy before he became a pastor. A bit of an interesting conversation, a lot of accusations of being offended going from both myself and from this gentleman here. But honestly, having an issue of growing up in Utah and then claiming, well, there is no Church of Jesus Christ, while then also becoming a Baptist pastor later in life, is a bit strange.
Guitar man. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, brother?
Doing good. Just for
Awesome.
TikTok purposes, are we over the age of 18?
Yeah,
Right on. And what's your current faith?
I am a Southern Baptist pastor.
All right. All right. That's fun. All right, cool. I
Yeah,
haven't come across a Southern Baptist in a few years.
yeah, I'm in the heart of Mormonism in Utah.
Okay.
I live in Pleasant Grove. We have a small church in Pleasant Grove.
Okay. Right on.
So, but
I'm 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 a bit southeast of you, so
okay, yeah, for sure. But I wanted to
I
tell
live
you
in
something.
Lehigh.
Oh, cool. Well, I want to tell
Yeah,
you
and
something,
good.
bro.
go ahead.
I got nothing but love for you, man, and I my only confusion
Hmm.
for the LDS Church is how anybody could say that they, and if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, okay, how anybody could claim that they are the Church of Jesus Christ.
Okay. Why is that confusing to you?
Well, the Bible tells us in Galatians, okay, chapter 3, it says that there's no Jew or Gentile, Greek, slave or free. And it tells us roughly that God's no respecter of persons.
Hmm.
And so, but, you're in Utah. I grew up here as somebody who is not a member.
Right.
And so I know what religious persecution is because I lived here. And back in when I grew up, there were certain people I couldn't play with because I wasn't of your faith and all this other stuff,
Hmm.
and they'd say, "Oh, you don't have the priesthood," and stuff like that. And I remember requesting from one of my friends Book of Mormon,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Oh man, thank you." And I remember reading it. I remember praying the prayer of James. Hey, if you lack wisdom, just ask in faith, and you know. And I never got that knock, and I was like, God, why? Because I'd gone through so much, and I was so frustrated. And what I realized is that that's not what God had for me. And I'm not saying that that's not what uh, God had for you or anybody else, but it's not what He had for me. And so,
Okay.
but people can come and chastise us for being called the First Baptist Church, but yet they can call themselves the Church of Jesus Christ and be fine with it. And I'm not okay with that.
Okay. So let me ask you this. That doesn't really answer the question that I had. Like, where would it indicate that there's no Church of Jesus Christ?
Well, if you think
Um,
that if you think, well, first of all, in Matthew 28:19
mhm.
and 20, it actually says, "And lo, I am with you always." The Greek word for that word "always" means always. The word use the word "ionos," okay, which means without end. There's never going to be a time when God is not here ever. Okay, when his and the church, the word church is not a religion. It's that they use the word ecclesia. It's the body of believers of Christ,
Hmm.
followers of Jesus Christ. In fact, they weren't even called a church; they were called the
They were
Way.
followers of the way. Yeah, followers of the
Right,
way.
and
Yeah.
so that's not. It's not the Mormon church. It's not the Baptist church. It's the people who followed Christ. And that's what
Okay.
I do. I follow Christ. So
Okay.
if you want to
So
be
when
offended, you
so
can. I'm not
no,
trying to
I'm
fight
not
with you.
necessarily offended. I'm not necessarily offended. I'm
Well,
just trying to
if you're
understand where you're
offended, that's
coming.
okay.
Yeah. No.
If you
The
didn't
issue,
live
the
in
issue is
Utah,
so Guitar Man. Like again, the issue isn't necessarily about being offended. I didn't grow up in Utah. I grew up in Southern California, and so I also know what
well,
religious persecution is like.
good,
Having grown up
good.
around a lot of Chaldean Catholics, um, but for me, the issue, like for instance, when we're talking about like the gathering of the saints, right, like the body of Christ. There is something to be said, though. Would you not say that Jesus set up a hierarchical structure?
Okay. Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Okay, would that hierarchical structure not be what would be considered the earmarks of the ecclesiastica or the church that was established by Jesus and the apostles?
Oh, 100%. But unfortunately, even if I'm not mistaken, do you guys believe that John the Beloved is still alive?
That he hasn't tasted of death. He's been translated just like Elijah was.
Well, I'm asking you if you believe that John the Beloved died. So you said he was translated. He's not
Mhm.
wandering around.
I mean, we don't necessarily know what that ultimately means, but when we say translated, it'd be the same way as how it's described with Elijah in Second Kings 1 and 2, where he's taken up into heaven without tasting death. So he's still able to interact. He can still interact with people, but whether or not he's
Well,
wandering around is
well,
not necessarily the thing.
where does it tell us that in Scripture that he was translated?
Now that'd be through modern revelation.
Well, but if you look at the book of in First Corinthians in 13, it says that when the perfect has passed, that which is perfect is complete.
Yeah, that's what perfection means. It means being
Yeah, so they're
complete.
talking about Christ. So that means there's no more prophets, no more priests,
Where are you getting that from First
and
Corinthians 15? Where are you getting that from
well,
First Corinthians 13?
I'm getting it because that when it's has perfect has passed, that which is perfect is complete.
Okay,
It's talking about Christ.
so
It's he's
no,
passed.
yeah, but
Well,
that doesn't
that's
mean that there's not any. But that doesn't mean that there's no more need for prophets and apostles.
well, he was our last prophet, our last priest,
No,
and our
no,
last. Okay, well,
that's
so
contradictory to what's the text, because there
well, how
were
does
there were
that?
prophets called. There were prophets even called it in even after Christ was ascended into heaven.
Okay, so name one.
Silas.
Silas was not a prophet.
Silas was called a prophet in Acts 15.
Silas was not a prophet. But
Silent.
they
No,
so
Judas and there were two after the council in Jerusalem in Acts 15. There were two who were named as prophets, Judas and Silas in Acts 15.
you're talking about Matthew. I mean Matthias and
No,
what's his name?
Acts 15. Acts 15. These were people. These were two men who were separate from the body of the apostles, who were called as prophets, Judas and Silas. This is in Acts 15. This is after the council of Jerusalem, where they all came to an agreement that circumcision is no longer a requirement for entering the church.
Acts 15:32.
Yep.
There's a prophet named Agabus who predicted famine and Paul being imprisoned. That's in Acts 11 and 21. The daughters of Philip. These were four unmarried
And
women
even
who had the
then,
gift
and
of
even
prophecy.
then, we have the. I mean, I don't know if you caught this earlier, Guitar Men, but I actually brought up instances of what apostolic succession looks like. That the office of the apostle was meant to continue. That it was never meant to end. Not that it did, but that it was never meant to. And that is the crux of the whole argument. So just so you know, Guitar Man, if you leave the app, we can't hear you. So if you're trying to talk while looking at something else, we don't know what you're saying. So just a heads up. It's very possible you got a gospel call too, but that's the circumstance we're looking at here. I can't. If again, Guitar Man, if you're trying to say something, if you leave the app, we can't hear you.
Okay, I'm still here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can now.
Or have you got me muted?
Oh no, you weren't muted. Your user profile went into a teacup, and we couldn't hear you. You left the app. So if you leave
Okay.
the app, we can't hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I apologize. But here's the thing. Okay. Um, the people, the apostles of God, saw Jesus. That's what makes them an apostle. Okay. That's what makes them an apostle. That's what makes them.
Based on what?
And so,
We don't know about Matthias or Barnabas or even James the Just. We have no idea whether or not they saw the risen Lord.
so who's James the Just?
He's
Well, and
sometimes
I'm not
called
saying
James,
because
brother.
I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
telling you.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not tell. I'm not telling you that. Asking you because I don't know.
Yeah,
You know.
James the Just is also sometimes called James the brother of Jesus, and he's the one who led the
That's
Jerusalem
right. And so
Council.
he wrote the book of James, right? And he was also
We don't
thrown
know that for
thrown from the
sure.
pinnacle. Well, he was thrown from the pinnacle of the temple.
We also don't know that for
Um,
sure either.
well, but yet you can, yeah. Just anyway, I'm not trying to argue with you, bro. I promise I wanted to give support. I just had that
Yeah,
question.
yeah. So
But
I will
but
say this.
you guys get so
Here's what I
offended.
will say because no, where have I gotten offended? Like really,
Well,
where have I gotten
well,
offended?
you're offended that I ask you why you say that you're the Church of Jesus Christ. What makes you that? What
Where did I
makes
get
you
any
better?
indication that I was offended?
I, I don't know. Maybe it's just how I perceived you. But so you're
Yeah, I
not
mean
offended.
it sounds like you're still trying to work through some trauma of your own self being offended. To be fair,
Well, you
but
know what? You're probably right. Absolutely. And you're probably right. I guarantee you, there's been some trauma there, and people thinking that they're better than other people.
oh
The
yeah,
Bible talks about things that God hates, and one is haughty eyes. You
yeah,
know that, hey,
absolutely.
oh, I'm better than
So
you because you're not. You're
so
not
if I
LDS.
could, yeah, so Guitar Man, if I could provide biblical evidence that the apostleship wasn't meant to end, or like at least that it was meant to end at a particular point, what would you say to that? If I were to bring that up in the Bible,
Sure, absolutely.
okay, can you read? Do you have your Bible nearby?
Well, I can't. I'm actually. I don't have my Bible with me, so I
Okay.
apologize. I'm actually shopping, and I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
oh, cool, and that's why I was listening. So, and I was like,
Right
oh
on.
man, that's cool.
Yeah. So the one that I would point to would be Ephesians chapter 4, verses 11 through 14. And it actually does give a timeline on when there are to be no more apostles and prophets. Specifically, Paul in Ephesians says that there will be that Jesus gave apostles and prophets, evangelists, teachers, and priests for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ, until we all come into the measure of the stature of Christ, into the knowledge of the perfect man, and until we all come into the unity of the faith. I probably butchered that, but basically, the long and the short of it is that apostles, prophets, the organizational structure of the church was meant to continue until all believers were in a true unity of the faith, as in as unified as
So
the
is
Father and the
what is
Son
that?
is.
So so what does that? So Christ prays this prayer in the Garden of Gethsemane, the olive press, right? And he says that they may be one as we are one, right?
In no, this is during the Last Supper, but yeah, in John 17, yes.
Well, no, well, he was. It wasn't the Last Supper. He prayed it in Gethsemane.
No,
He's praying for the church.
In John 17, this is during the Last Supper. It's in the upper room.
Okay. Anyway,
He goes to Gethsemane after he issues that prayer, after he offers the intercessory.
so he's praying, and then he's asking for the cup to pass in front of him, right? And who shows up?
So you're conflating what's in Matthew as far as what he prays in Gethsemane with what is in John 17. So in John 17, this is during the Last Supper. He prays for the disciples that are with him, that they may be one with him as he is with the Father. And this is reflected in what Paul says in Ephesians 4, that there's a need for apostles and prophets and so forth, until we are completely unified in the faith, just as Jesus prayed in John 17. So if
Okay,
Jesus
so
is praying that the disciples are one with him as he is with the Father, and that those who hears their words are one with them as they are one with him, does is Jesus and the Father, do they differ on things theologically or doctrinally, on anything?
well, so your Jesus is the brother of Satan. Your Jesus was
That
a created being.
No,
well,
My
you
Jesus
no, hold on,
is
wait,
the
wait, wait,
Son
wait,
of
wait, wait, wait,
God.
wait, wait. Hold on, we're dish galloping here. We shifted to a different thing here.
Well, no,
Where
but if
so
I mean you,
that's a
I'm
completely
asking
different
you.
topic. You're shifting to a different
No,
topic here.
it's not.
Yes, it is.
yeah, you are.
Because we're talking about what
Okay,
the ecclesiastical order of the church that Jesus originally set up in the first century looks like, and now you're going into, well, Jesus is the brother of Satan, and this,
I
that, and
didn't
the other.
say that. I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did.
You
No,
just
I
did.
said that you're Jesus, not mine. You do you believe
Well,
that Jesus is the
I
brother of
okay.
know that's the
Lucifer?
point.
We hold on, hold on, hold
So
on,
we
hold on.
believe Jesus
What?
is fully God.
Hold on, Guitar Man. Do you think we believe in creation from nothing?
No, absolutely not. But if you think that,
Okay,
if you
so
think that,
where would you get that Jesus is a created being from our theology then?
well, because if he's the brother of Lucifer, if you believe that, okay, then he had to be a created being in your
If we
so
don't believe in creation
that's not
from nothing,
biblical.
then that's not. If we don't, well, I mean, creation from nothing is not a biblical concept, but we can also
No, it's
showcase
not.
that if, yeah, well, creation. There's no. You're right. There's no such thing as creation from nothing in the biblical text.
Nope. So,
Yeah, creation.
but
You're
so
right.
my
Yeah,
Bible
I'm
tells
glad we agree.
my
Creation
no,
from
we
nothing.
don't.
Creatio ex nihilo is not in the biblical text. Great. I'm glad we agree.
So what I'm saying is Christ was not a created being, and he's fully
Yeah, so are
God,
we.
as is the Holy
So do
Spirit.
we. So
No,
do we.
no.
What
Okay,
do you know what the title page
Fair
of the Book of
point.
Mormon says about what we teach about Jesus Christ? What does the title page of the Book of Mormon say?
I don't know. I didn't memorize it. Sorry, man.
Um,
The
yeah,
introduction, the
so
introduction to the Book of Mormon.
the title page
Go
of the
ahead.
Book of Mormon. Yeah, the title page of the Book of Mormon. This was actually part of the plates that the purpose of the record is to convince Jew and Gentile that Jesus is the Christ, the eternal God. That does not mean that he is a created being. Creation from nothing is not found within our doctrine. It's not found within the biblical text. In fact, it is impossible to create something from nothing.
Well, yeah, I know that's the law of thermodynamics.
Sure, and it's the same thing with how God formed everything. The matter was already there. The materials were already there. They were just formed into something else. That's what bara means. It is to set in order.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So when you're trying to claim that we believe that Jesus is a created being, no, we don't. There's no such thing as
Okay,
a
so who?
created being.
Oh, so Matthew and Mark and weren't created, and Adam wasn't created, and Eve wasn't created, and
They were
I
formed.
wasn't created.
They were formed.
Well, I believe that God put everything there.
Yeah, so do we.
The
That they
Bible
were formed out
says
of pre-existing
that's
materials.
it. And so if you
Where
look, it
where where
doesn't
does
say
where
that
does
here.
so Guitar Man? Can you point to me where it says that God created something out of nothing?
In the beginning, God created. There you
Yeah,
go.
Baroshit bara Elohim ara aharas. In the beginning, the gods formed the heavens and or the earth and the sky, basically.
So if we're gonna go into Hebrew, I think that's great. I think that's great. I love this. So in the Hebrew, so you're saying the gods, right? And they're
Which
using
is
that
what
word.
Elohim is. Which is what Elohim is.
Well, Elohim is plural, absolutely. But if you look at the direct object, who are they talking about?
I
Because
mean, it, it,
do you
it,
see
the,
that
the
new?
entire the entire
Is the new
concept is
there?
in plural. It's in plural.
Is that okay? So is the new? Where's the new? Who's the new talking about? Who's the direct object talking about?
The gods. The
So
gods
the
who
word.
formed the heaven and yeah.
So what gods?
Shake bara Elohim ara ahras. That would be the divine council.
What? So the divine council. Well, so an Elohim is definitely not a god. So first of
Yes,
all,
it is.
it's a
That's what the ancient
spiritual
Hebrews.
being.
That's what the ancient Hebrews would have done. There's no such
No,
thing as.
absolutely. So they don't believe that there are other gods. If you
Yes,
look
they
at
do.
Deuteronomy 6:4, no, they don't. Deuteronomy
Yes, they
six
do.
four. Deuteronomy
Okay.
6:4. God is one.
Yeah. One
Shema
how?
Israel Yahweh
Yeah. What?
Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. That's
Yeah.
what it
What is
says.
Ahad? What is Ahad?
It's one, one.
One how?
It's because that's God. That's what they're talking
No.
about.
One. No.
And
One
so
how? What does Echad
I don't know. I'm
mean?
not God. I don't know if
Okay.
anybody.
No, but
If
I
you run
can I
into
can actually
anybody
point. Okay.
who
No. But turn.
understands
Hold on. Wait. No.
God,
Stop being offended. Stop being offended for a second.
I'm not
Because
offended.
again,
I'm not offended.
okay, I'm asking what the word echad means because that's important here. Because
It's
English is
one.
a very no, yes, but one how? Because again,
It's
we can point. Hold on, wait. Because again, we can point to several other words in Hebrew that are other than echad, especially when referring to God or anything else relating to that. And echad is not used. It is a different conjunctive form of what would be rendered into English as one. So, for instance, there are two that come to mind really off the top of my head. I'm elbow deep in dishwater, by the way. But what I would say is that there are two words that come to mind. First would be echad, like we talked about in the Shema in Deuteronomy 6, and then another would be Yahid. Do you know what Yahid means?
let's hear what's it say. What's
Yahid,
Yahid?
Yahid would also be rendered as one, but in the sense of being single, solitary, or only. So, for instance, one of the first times that Yahid is used is when the angel tells Abraham to sacrifice his one or his only, his Yahid's son Isaac. However, the first time for
Oh,
instance, we
sorry.
see Echad being used is in Genesis 2 when referring to Adam and Eve. That those two are Echad flesh or one flesh. So
I agree with
Echad
that.
means one in a relational aspect. So in the Shema in Deuteronomy 6, when it says that the Lord our God is one, or the Lord our God is Echad, it's not referring to a singular entity. It's referring to a relationship with other deities.
Well, that's where we disagree.
That's what the Hebrew says.
That's your interpretation from
It's
your
not. It's no, it's
indoctrinated
not.
Mormonism.
It's not actually. I could actually point to several Trinitarian scholars, for instance, like Michael Heiser, again off the top of my head, who would actually say
Well,
that
you
yeah,
need
that's
to
what the Hebrew
when you're
says.
talking. Well, look at so if we're going to go to Michael Eisner. Let's go into his book. Um, what's it? It's called The Invisible Realm, and he explains exactly what you're talking about, which is, but you are. He would roll over in his grave if he heard you saying this stuff right now.
Here's the thing: is that he actually did issue a statement that he didn't like how Latter Day Saints were using his work, but he
Absolutely.
reluctantly, in that same statement, said, "Yeah, we were right as far as the scholarly work is concerned. We are right that our doctrine lines up with what his scholarly research has shown." So, for instance, when we're looking at things like the Shema, especially with recent translations of the Dead Sea Scrolls, since they have been allowed to have been translated, it indicates that there were more than one deity, more than one God. So, for instance, Deuteronomy 32
That's
is
that's that's
different. Hold
that's
on, hold on.
heresy.
It's not. Well,
It
only
is
only if you look
heresy.
at it through only if you look at it through a classical theism lens. But
Well,
from
no,
from
let's look at it. Let's look at let's go to John. Then if let's look in the Greek. So because what does the word monogenes mean?
you tell me, you
It
clearly
means
have. Yeah, go ahead.
I did spend some time. But it's one, and that's when Jesus is explained. Okay, and when Jesus explained, um, it's in the beginning was the word, right? And if you look at which is ha logos, which ha is one, right? One word, okay? And the word was with God. And if we go to the original text, it says, and God was the
And the word
word.
was divine. And no,
Okay.
the
And
the
God was
old
the
the
word.
oldest available. The oldest available text, if we were to transliterate it into English without the addition of Colwell's rule, which hasn't even been a thing for 100 years yet, if we were to go into the oldest manuscript that we have for the Book of John, it would read, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was towards the God, and the Word was divine."
It says God was the Word, actually.
No, again, if we're looking at the oldest available manuscript, which would have been closer to the time that the writer actually wrote it,
So who's the
then it
Word?
would say
Who's the Word?
that would be the Son, that'd be Jesus.
Okay, so what word? So if we
The
go
Word
to
was towards
John
the
again
God.
in chapter
So
3,
so what? So
if
so in
so
yeah, go ahead.
and you go to 14, First
So we're
John
we're jumping so we're jumping
chapter 1
around
verse
again.
14.
Okay.
Well, no, because it goes to talk about John the Baptist, who yeah, John the Baptist talks about John the Baptist, and it says, and the Word, logos, became flesh and dwelt among us. Who's the Word? Is the Word God?
Not the
Is that
Father.
singular? No, it
Not the
doesn't say
Father.
Father. It says God.
Right.
It
Well,
says
no.
God.
Logos means divine.
No, logos means
The
word.
no logos is divine. We're looking at
Logos
the
means word.
Hold on. So when you're reading the latter part of John 1:1, when it lacks the definite article, it's not conflating the word with the God in John 1:1a, which means the word was divine. Because if it carried the definite article, it would be conflating the being of the logos with the being of the God in John 1:1a. This is quite literally the most well-known thing within
Mormon
Greek
doctrine.
grammarian. No, Greek
Just
grammarians.
it's extremely
Here,
extremely LDS doctrine.
so
that
got your
no
hold on,
no
wait.
man. This is in
I got
Greek
it.
beyond the basics.
Here. If I go down a list, I'm gonna go down a long list of Greek grammarians that translate John 1:1c or John 1:1c. Yeah, the latter part of John 1:1 as qualitative. You tell me if they're Mormon, okay? You tell me. Do you want to go
No, I
look
don't
through these?
know.
You
I
want to go?
don't
You want to go
know.
work? Hey, hold on, wait. Don't chicken out now. Do you want to say that
I'm
these
not
people are
afraid of you,
Mormon?
bro.
Do you want to say these people
I'm
are
saying
Mormon
that's more.
before?
He's
I'm
just
saying
he's
that's
just
Wait,
easily
LDS
hey,
offended,
doctrine.
Henry.
real
So
quick.
No, I'm
it's
not
not.
offended,
Do you want to
dude.
do you want to
Don't.
say these people are Mormon real quick before I list them off?
No, no, I don't want to say that because
Oh,
I'm
that's
telling you what
interesting.
you're saying is
That's interesting.
Mormonism. Well,
It's
you're
not.
offended
So
because
so
I'm saying
Greek
that you
so
don't
Greek
believe that
so
God
that
is
so the,
one.
hold on
Go ahead and
again.
laugh.
One how. Because every other instance that we see
Funny.
that God being one is talking about that relational aspect, unless you want to read something into it, it's not
So
actually in the
you're
text.
so is that how you can become a god? Is that what you're saying?
So we're
Because you're
shifting
part of
again.
God, right?
We're
Well,
shifting
no,
again.
I'm not shifting. But you can if you get a shift on me, I'm gonna shift on you, bro.
I haven't been shifting this entire time. You're the only one who's been
Oh,
shifting from one topic. We started talking about the truth of Jesus Christ and its organizational structure and why we're able to claim that we are the Church of Jesus Christ.
well, but
And then
but
you
you're
shifted
not.
to
Otherwise,
Jesus
otherwise,
being a created
otherwise,
being.
everything,
Well, hold on,
everything.
wait. Hold on, wait. Because again, I'm showcasing. I did not shift any of these topics. We started off with what the Church of Jesus Christ actually was. Then you shifted to Jesus being a created being and the brother of Satan, and now we're talking about the
In
Trinity.
your belief,
Like
in your stock, in your koine, in your doxas. That's exactly it.
so again, unless you were to incorporate Colwell's rule, which was not a thing before the 1930s, that's not how the Greek would have been understood. The Greek would not have read that way unless Colwell had made that rule, which, if it was applied equally, would make the Greek unreadable.
Kind of like the King James.
Well, we don't necessarily hold to King James. We also don't hold to a closed canon, so we don't
I,
really have a
well,
problem
and
there.
so yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm not dogging King James, but there are a lot of issues. And if
Yeah, we
people are going to
agree.
ask me
Here,
if people are going to
We would
ask me to
agree.
go to a text, then I'm going to go back to the original text as from what I've been trained. Right.
I would recommend the New Revised Standard since that has a bit more of a scholarly edge to it.
I like personally. I like the ESV, and if you're a Hebrew guy, the NET is really good. It's got it's like 65,000 translational notes, and why.
Yeah, when it
So,
comes to the Hebrew Bible, I do like the Oxford annotated Hebrew scriptures, but that's me. Um,
well,
but either
yeah. So
way,
it was anyway. Yeah, go ahead.
but yeah. So like, if we're trying to look at what it actually says within the text itself, then it's not supported by your assertions at all. Because again, in order to make the assertion that, for instance, John 1:1 is strictly talking about Jesus being the Father and the Son, and that this somehow demonstrates the Trinitarian dogma, I'm sorry, that's not the way that it would have worked, especially since there are
So
two subject names.
what is your definition of Trinitarian?
A Trinitarian would be the consubstantial union of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit in three persons in one consubstantial entity.
That's perfect. I,
Okay,
absolutely.
so that's why I say, because this concept is not taught within the biblical text, if you're going to try to say that John 1:1 demonstrates that, well, I'm sorry, you're going to have to reconcile the fact that every other time it talks about the Father and the Son, it is talking about it in a relational aspect, especially when Jesus says in John 10, I and my Father are one, and then uses the same word and verbiage in John 17 to describe his relationship with the apostles and with the Father,
What about
which would
Colossians 2?
contradict.
What
Because it
about
says that
Colossians
Jesus,
2?
yeah, so it says that Jesus is the firstborn of all creation. So either
That's
Jesus is
Colossians
somehow
1.
Adam, or it's Colossians 1, yeah.
He
But
doesn't know what
yeah,
he's talking about.
What
this
I
doesn't
actually do.
showcase
Thanks,
anything.
bro.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what?
you
You said
then
Colossians
you
2?
stand.
Is it in
Wait, hang
Colossians
on.
2? Is
Yeah,
it in
look at
Colossians 2?
Yeah,
Colossians. Hey,
Is
it's
it
shut
in
your
in
mouth for a
Colossians 2?
Colossians 2.
second. I hear you. You don't have to repeat. I'm not deaf, bro.
Well,
So
you sound
yeah,
like it.
I do. Why are we gonna insult each other now, bro?
Oh,
Is that part
bruh.
that you know?
Bruh. I love it. I love your punctuation, bruh.
You
Oh boy,
absolutely.
I've been insulting
What?
us too.
What? No. How am I insulting you?
you
I'm
have.
asking you
What part of
questions.
Colossians, bruh?
You kept
Bruh,
Chapter.
what
saying
part
that
of
we got
Colossians?
offended and haven't yet demonstrated that. Let's go ahead. Okay, what do you think Colossians 2 says?
Dude, I'm right here on trinitariandoctrine.wordpress.com right now. And all these people that are also Trinitarian, but who are academics, are saying that it should be read as the word is divine.
So Guitar Man, what do you think Colossians 2 is saying? What go ahead and read it for us. What are you trying to say Colossians 2 says? Again, if you leave the app, we can't hear you. The Guitar Man, it shows that you've left the app, so if you're trying to speak, we can't hear you. Anyone have the Jeopardy theme ready? He's
Absolutely
probably trying to. Oh
love,
no, go ahead, Steven.
absolutely
Sorry.
love the complete 180 that he did. He came in here. He was being polite. He's like, "Hey, I'm going up around you guys. I like you all." And then turns around and says we're in a cult. Starts spewing out classic
Oh yeah.
polemic
Well,
tropes.
the thing is that like he can't stick to a subject. I was more than willing and more than happy to showcase like what the organizational structure of the church was, and then all of a sudden, just complete 180. You believe Jesus is the created being and the brother of Satan. I'm sorry. What? How you doing, Henry?
I'm good. I just thought it was
Yeah.
funny when I heard it, the conversation going on.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm hoping he's just got a call because we didn't mute him because he tried to accuse. No, Steven, he tried to accuse us of muting him before. He's teacupping for me.
I
Is he
remember that.
teacupping for everybody else? Yeah.
Well, he's back now.
Oh, he's back now. Okay, cool. So yeah, I don't know if you got a call or something, but if you were trying to talk to us, we couldn't hear you because it showed us that you left the app.
Um, Colossians 2, verse, I think starting like 8 and 9 talks about how that
You said 8 and
Christ
9,
is,
correct?
yeah, that
Okay.
he's in the fullness, that Christ is the fullness of
Oh, the
God.
fullness of divinity.
Of God.
It's
Yes,
a,
God.
so okay. Here we go. Let's go.
That in him lies is the fullness of God.
Lies the
That,
fullness of God. He said 8 and 9.
Yeah.
yeah.
It says, "For in him dwelleth all the fullness of the Godhead bodily." So let me go to the Greek real quick and see what the Greek is saying here, because there's different translations of apparently of what it's saying. Because he's saying it says God, mine says Godhead, other translations say divinity. So let's just figure this out real quick.
Yeah, another instance where there's a necessity of prophets and apostles to not only interpret scripture but also provide a correct understanding of what it means.
Okay, better call out Henry too. Wait, what did I do?
Wait, what?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Proper not is just angry.
I actually bring my sources with me. Okay, let's see here. La, 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 la. Okay, so Theotes. Theotes is a rare noun only here in the New Testament, meaning deity, divinity, the state of being. As standard Lexia Beta Thyre notes, many historians emphasize that this goes beyond simply divine qualities. Okay, let's see here. Divine quality in Romans 1:20. A number of scholars argue Colossians 2:9, one of the strongest places where Paul ascribes full deity to Christ explicitly onto in terms within Jewish monotheistic setting. Hmm. Where's this freaking Greek word again? What's it called? Theotes? Theotes. Theotes. Let me go back to there it is. Theotes. Theotes with some overlap translates into divine nature or divinity. Several Christian writers and later theologians distinguish them, reserving theotes for the essential Godhead. Scholars sympathetically to Nicene theology point out the Greek fathers and Latin theologians chose theotes and the Latin equivalent theotes when they wanted to speak of God's essential being. They're seeing Colossians 2. Okay, well, I don't care about the fathers because that's not the context. Historical critical angle, modern part for doctrinal developments, combinations theosis with all the fullness and dwells bodily. The Jewish monotheistic frame pushes the understanding of the visible embodiment of deity, not merely a spirit-filled human. Same, they recognize that Paul's language is functional as well as Christ embodies God's fullness for the purpose of confronting rival philosophies and spiritual powers, addressing Colossians 2. Okay, what are the specific modern historians? Um, Guitar Man, can you get me?
Yeah.
Can you give me your source where it says? Because right here I'm seeing theotis translates into divinity or divine nature.
So you love that word divinity, but you can call God divinity. I'm fine with that, but
Okay,
that's God, bro.
perfect.
Okay.
So,
And
all right. So,
you can find, wait, let me finish. Okay. I let you
yes, go
talk and
ahead.
read, and that's great. Let me finish. Isaiah 9:6. What's it say?
Oh, you cite it to me. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have it
Okay.
memorized.
Me
Oh,
neither.
you're giving the whole reference to the son is
Son is
a son
given.
is born
Yeah,
is
that's
given and son is
right.
born.
You,
Perfect. Wait, so what
yeah.
time
And
period
he's
is that
what?
happening
They'll
in?
call his name what? What
Call
are
his
they calling
name
him again?
Emmanuel,
700. Yeah.
right?
What do they call him? Which is what?
It means well, you want the
God
breakdown?
with
It was
us. God
Emmanuel.
with
So
us,
Here,
where?
right?
Hold on.
wait. You can say God with us, but do you
When
want to break down the
during
Hebrew real quick?
yeah.
Let's
So
break
hold
down the
on.
Hebrew. I'll tell you what it
Isaiah
means.
9. Wait, guys. Isaiah 9 is talking about Hezekiah.
I know. That's why I thought it was
9:6.
funny.
Oh, so what? So you're saying Hezekiah is God then? Because it says everlasting Father, the mighty
Yeah,
Exactly.
he
God,
was referred to
wonderful
as such. Yeah,
Counselor.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
that's
they're
what
not talking about
That's what the
Hezekiah.
Hebrew.
No, they're
That's how
Jesus,
the
the king
Hebrew
of
and they're
considered.
Israel
talking.
is.
And it
Hold
is
on,
a.
guitar man. Hold on, guitar man. The thing is that interpretation was not changed until Matthew, someone who was an apostle who had the authority to interpret and reinterpret and provide new scripture, provide that new translation, that new interpretation. It was never about the Messiah. That was
Oh,
never the original
so
understanding according to the Hebrew.
so and then nor was Isaiah 53, right? Or Isaiah 45. None of
Yeah,
that.
they have historical context that tried to like attach to them.
Yeah.
Do you
Are you
study at
familiar?
all? Hold on, because like for instance, Isaiah is living in what century?
He was 700 years before Christ, roughly.
All right, so he's
About
living in the
800. But
8th
yeah.
So,
century.
but he's a prophet,
Correct.
right? Okay, so
Yeah.
what's the test of a prophet?
Matthew 7.
No, well, let's look at Old Testament. What's it say? What's the test of a prophet?
There is no test of a prophet in the Old
Deuteronomy
Testament.
18:20. It sure is. Deuteronomy
That's not
18:20.
a
What's
test.
it say? It
It
sure is.
says if the prophecy doesn't come to pass, then the prophet spoke presumptuously.
Okay, so if and so you're telling me
Still calls him a
that
prophet.
Yeah, because
he's
that
no
makes
prophet.
No,
well
the text
that
still
would
says that it's a
wait.
prophet.
The text literally says he spoke presumptuously and to not fear him. It doesn't call him a false prophet. As a matter of
It
fact, a
just
good example of that is Jonah with that prophecy that he gives to Nineveh that doesn't come true, which is the destruction that it's going to face in 40 days. That doesn't happen.
Okay.
Unless you believe Jonah's a false prophet. I mean, go ahead. That's fine.
Oh no, well not. Oh, no, I don't believe Jonah's a false prophet. Sorry.
That's
well,
according to
according to
Deuteronomy
what you gave
18.
for Deuteronomy 18, yeah, he would
According to
definitely
how
be.
you're defining
Okay, then
Deuteronomy 18,
let's
that
go
makes
to
him a false prophet.
every one of your prophets, then, bud. Every one of them. So,
That
because I don't
hold
No,
on,
see
wait,
wait.
wait, wait.
Okay,
people.
so
Deal with
guitar man, hold on, wait.
this
If
is
you're going to
funny.
apply this
Are you
the gold
offended?
standard of
You're well, yeah.
I'm not, bro.
using the
You
one
just
actual
called your
So
no,
own
share light,
prophet
bro.
You're
and you
really
called
hung
Jonah.
up
According to your
on
you're
definition,
really
you
Well,
hung
can't
up
you're
on the
call
hung
whole
Jonah a
up, bro.
false
offended thing.
prophet.
Hold on, Henry.
Joseph
Hold on,
Smith is
everybody.
a false prophet.
You seem to be really hung up
Is
on the whole offended thing. I'm not entirely sure why.
It's because
I
he's
don't care,
flying.
bro. I
Oh
said,
crap! I probably froze.
well,
Hold on.
No, you're
Hold on. All
good.
right.
You're
Can you
good,
guys?
line. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. All right. Cool. So here's the thing. If you're going to use Deuteronomy 18 as the supposed test of a prophet, when it comes to folks like Joseph Smith, Brigham Young, or whoever, we have to be willing
sure.
to apply it equally to. Hold on. We have to be willing to apply it equally to even the prophets within the biblical text, which would mean Moses would be considered a false prophet, Isaiah would be a false prophet, Jeremiah would
How
be a
is
false
Moses?
prophet,
How is
Jonah.
how is Moses a false prophet? How's
He
Jeremiah a false
prophesied that
prophet?
he Yeah, so let's do this. So Moses prophesied that he would lead the children of Israel into the promised land, and yet he was only able to lead them to the borders. He wasn't able to step foot into the promised land. That would be considered a false prophecy. Jeremiah would be a false prophet when he prophesied that King Zedekiah would die in peace, and that incense would be burned in effigy for him, as did his ancestors. And yet, Zedekiah died with his eyes gouged out after he saw his own sons murdered in front of him by the Babylonians, and he died in prison. Not exactly dying in peace, and no effigies were burned for him.
Yep. So I really enjoy this, guys. I really do. That's great.
I would be laughing. I'd be laughing when I get cooked too.
Dude, I would love to meet you. Seriously. I think that'd be great. Mm-hmm. I would. Yeah, I would. You're really condescending on. And
yeah, feel free to show up in Dallas when me and Alex sign debate.
So Guitar Man, I don't think Guitar Man, you kind of, I don't think you appreciate having your own energy reflect back at you.
Oh, you will. Don't worry.
Energy. So Guitar Man, I match energy. So if you feel like one or all of us are being condescending, you might want to look in the mirror, bud.
Well, probably right.
We're using your definition of Deuteronomy 18 to call the prophets false in the Bible.
It's 2 against 1. Right?
You're so smart though. You're up here, you know everything.
Well, remember? And so are you too, man. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I've actually brought my sources. I mean, like you didn't even know what the Greek word was for Colossians, or you don't even know that the Jewish people believe it was Hezekiah or the king of Israel with Isaiah 9.
Well, that's because your information is flawed, bro.
Oh, really? That's funny. Rashi. You know who Rashi was?
No, tell me, bud. Tell me who Rashi is.
Is one of the most well-known and studied Jewish rabbis that have ever lived.
Who does not believe
from his commentary?
Yeah, but he doesn't believe that Jesus was Messiah.
You were literally.
So there's a problem there.
Okay. Oh, perfect. What about if I go to Rabbi Kaduri's commentaries? Well, what about that? Because he's the one rabbi who millions of Jewish people loved and reserved, who was a Kabbalist. And when he died, he left a note, and he said, "Open this note 1 year after my death." And within it, it says that he says the name of the Messiah who he met in a vision. And guess what? The name of the Messiah was?
Yeshua.
Jesus. Oh, crazy. So if I go to his commentary, and if he says something the same, are you going to say he doesn't have the Spirit too?
I can't say any who does and who does not.
Oh, curious. You were just doing it a second ago. Now you're backpedaling.
No, okay. How was I doing that?
Because you were saying Rashi doesn't. You remember when you said that? You said that like 30 seconds ago.
You were basically saying that because he was a Jew that
doesn't believe that Jesus is Messiah.
But that's the issue.
No.
And then I gave a Jew who does.
Yeah.
Then I gave an example of a Jew who does, and then you said, "Let me backpedal and let me say I can't say this."
I don't know your personal relationship with God.
Guitar Man,
for a second. Let me say something real quick.
No, this is my life. Okay. No. You said enough. Here's the thing, Guitar Man, is that you can't really substantiate any of your claims. You can't really substantiate any of your claims. You're speaking from a place of trauma and hurt and trying to project that onto us when, in actuality, I think you still got some stuff to work through. I don't really think you should be a pastor with that kind of unresolved issue.
Oh, man.
You might want to rethink your profession.
Wow. Hey, and I think you should rethink how you treat people and that as well, too, bro, because, so sorry. Think about how you treat people as well.
Being kind is not being nice.
What?
I'm not a nice person, but I am kind. I do strive to be kind.
Do you think that Jesus' conduct in Matthew 23 is how we should go about our lives when we speak to people?
So I don't have I don't see the.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not. I don't know Matthew 23. I don't have it in front of me. So go ahead.
Should we go around calling people fools, vipers, greedy, ignorant, referring to them as sons of the devil or daughters of the devil?
That's right.
Should we go around
sure
doing that?
That was Well,
Should we be
he's
doing that?
God, so he can do that. He's God. So
So
Jesus,
So where
God,
you
did
think
where
it's
did
funny
where
that
did
Jesus is
he?
God?
So where did he say that
Feel
we
sorry
should
for me,
not?
bro.
Jesus on the Mount
Is
gives the
God.
Sermon on the Mount where he says you shouldn't even be angry. You shouldn't be angry. But in Matthew 23, he's angry and he's showing vengeance and all this
Oh,
stuff.
so
So
you're
like,
saying Jesus is
are
a
you saying?
hypocrite, right?
Are
Is
you
that what you're
saying?
saying?
Yeah. I
Based on
mean,
your
That's what you're
standard?
saying.
you just said, hey, you're the one that said it right now. You just said God can do it because it's God.
It sure can. So, but you equate yourself to
So
God. So
when it
keep
comes
doing that,
to
bro.
when it comes to being angry, so should we use our conduct the same way?
Oh, so
Yes or
your
no?
conduct's above reproach, isn't it?
Come on, guitar man,
That
answer the
no,
question.
that's
I'm
not what
Don't
he
asking
burden
you.
said.
shift, Bubba. Don't burden shift. I'm asking you a question. The question was proposed to you. You don't answer a question
Okay,
with a
so what's
question. Ignorant people do
well?
that.
Oh.
He's
So
not wrong.
well,
You're
here's
almost
the
an
thing.
answer.
Okay, answer the question one more time. I want to.
I'm not going to answer the question. I can ask the question if you want me
That's
to.
what I ask you to do. That's what
You
I
just
ask you
said
to do.
answer
Ask the
the
question.
question, dude. You did not say that. I think you're tired or something because your words are not wording. I said, should we use the same conduct as Jesus in Matthew 23? Because you're referring to the way that we talk to people, and you're talking the way that you were presenting it to Latter Day Lion. And so I said, should we present ourselves like Jesus did in Matthew 23, or how Jesus did when he cleansed the temple, whipping people around? Do you prefer that we do that?
Is that well? Do So my
Because
thing is
we should act
that's
So
Christ-like, right?
so
let,
what? Hold on, Guitar Man. During the Sermon on the Mount, what did Jesus say we should become? We should be perfect, even as our Father in heaven is perfect. So what does that look like?
and you've attained that. That's what you've attained. Perfection
I have
here
not.
on earth. You.
What does what?
But
Well, I
that's
mean,
what
you
you're
can't.
claiming, right?
I mean, Job was considered perfect to a degree.
We're not claiming perfection.
No, but that's what you exactly are, and that's
No.
the problem.
Oh,
That's the
perfect.
problem.
Wait,
Where did we claim?
Guitar man,
So
where did I say I was perfect? Give it to me right now. I promise I won't clip you. But go ahead, explain where I said I was perfect.
I would. I make no such promise.
You're a good line, but promise I won't clip you. My fingers aren't crossed right now.
Oh, that's okay. I'm not worried about it, dude. I didn't
No,
come to
sure.
get clipped. I honestly wanted to ask a couple questions, and
Yeah,
then it got out of
I could
line.
totally
So,
tell. I could totally tell by the way that you were presenting everything.
well, after
You definitely wanted to listen.
yeah, well, you guys definitely aren't listening. And that's the thing. And so
Well,
I
Guitar
want
Man,
to
you shifted the
apologize. Well, let me
topic.
finish. Let me finish,
You shifted
please.
the
Yeah,
topic
Okay.
3 separate times. Fourth now, actually.
it's fine.
All right. Let me finish. I
The
want
last
to
time.
apologize if you're offended. I want to
If it gets offended
apologize.
again, I'm not going to take it. You'll
If
have to find something else to do.
go ahead and laugh, that's good. That's good for you.
No.
Um, but that's not what I'm trying to do. So I apologize.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, honestly, this just got way out of line. And so I want to own my part in that. I do truly
And
care about the people of Utah. That's why I moved here. That's why I live here with my family. I grew up here. I care about them. When I was in the military,
damn, I
I
wish you would
was
have met
friends with
me.
all the LDS people, and so, so anyway, but again, I apologize, that
Hey,
I was
guitar man.
offensive or, yeah.
I want to extend an offer out to you. Me and some friends at conference, we always debate protesters and anti-Mormon people
I
outside.
hate those guys. You know
So hold
why?
on, no, it's fine.
Because they're
But
not, it's
even
not out of love, bro.
you're able to do it. You're able to do it online though. But we debate people.
Oh,
Me and Chuck debated two evangelical Christian people that weren't the obnoxious shouting ones that don't engage in conversation. So and there's some street preacher guys that followed me that even had a good conversation with me out in front during conference as well. So feel free to show up one day, and
well,
I'm pretty sure one of us will be out there.
I won't show up at conference. That's not love, bro.
I'm
So
shit.
I won't do it.
You're
I
not
honestly won't.
How about if I
I've never
scheduled
showed up
something?
once.
If
I've never showed up once to anything like
How
that
how
ever.
about how about this? How about this? What if, for instance, say you and I were to have a like a live discussion, live in-person discussion in front of an audience about a particular topic and see where it goes. Maybe we can do that maybe sometime in late September, maybe the week before conference, or maybe the day before conference.
I'd be down to that.
Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get something set up then.
Yeah, and I'll have my stuff with me as well. So I was not completely prepared. So kudos.
do you mean prepared?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Okay, well I didn't hear the pre. My bad.
He
Yeah.
well to be fair, Henry, he did say he was grocery shopping right now, so
Oh, that makes sense.
there's that. Yeah.
That's tough. I've done that before.
Yeah.
Trying to talk while grocery shopping is not easy.
Yeah. Same here.
Well, I can barely walk and talk, to be honest with you. I yeah. Do you know what TBI is?
I don't think so.
Well, it's a traumatic brain injury. I took a hit,
Mm,
and so I forget stuff sometimes, and
mm-hmm.
so anyway. But I don't want to. But that's not an excuse for my behavior.
No, you're good. You're good. You're totally fine, dude.
So anyway, I got a long way to go.
All right, so I mean,
But
everyone
honest,
does.
yeah. But I'm not. I don't want to be like. I want to be like that, man. During the Olympics, we had a bunch of people from the South wanted to come and use our church as a platform, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I was absolutely no, you can't do that because they weren't coming to love, they were coming to fight and bash and everything
Mm-hmm.
like that. And believe it or not, in Utah, I've been maybe through some fault of my own as well, been the victim of that as well, of you know people dogging me. I've had to defend myself, my faith, my entire life, you know, and so I am passionate about my personal relationship with Christ, but I'm also passionate about your personal relationship with Christ. And my desire is that someday we'll both be where we're supposed to be, and and that's through growth on both our parts.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but I mean, yeah, definitely. So I'm again, I am truly sorry, but I do look forward to a conversation, and I've got a program I've used through seminary that saved me called Logos Bible Software.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a
right
good
on.
And
software.
it is, yeah. And so when I have it with me, I'm have those resources, but I forget a lot of stuff now when I'm not. I don't have it. Sometimes I can't even find my car. So so
That's always unfortunate whenever that happens. This happened to me a couple of times.
yeah. So um, anyway, but I ask for your forgiveness for disrespecting you in any way. But I do care about your relationship with Christ, and where we're both going to end up one day, and we're both going to be there before a holy and righteous God. And I promise you, He's not going to say, "Were you a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints?" He's going to say, "Did you know me? Did you walk in the coolness of the morning with me?" That's what He's going to say. Um, and we're going to be held responsible for every word we've ever spoken, right? And so this is why I was in error. I should have been home in front of my computer talking. I just thought it was interesting. And what do they call it? The what lion something? What's it called? Latter-day Lion.
Oh, Latter Day
You're,
Lion.
yeah. And so I thought, oh, this is cool. So because I've always
Yeah.
enjoyed LDS apologetics, um, just listening how they, get through that stuff. It's made me a better person to be able to read um, that stuff. And I even have a favorite church president. Um, my my buddy, uh, his daughter had what do they call that? Gastroparesis, and she was a big girl, man. She was, you know. Anyway, she like got down to like 88 pounds, and she was like on her way out. Well, her brother was getting married in Salt Lake at the temple, and she was just sitting on the bench, And I don't know why she can't go in. I'm not LDS. I don't pretend to know. But she was sitting on the bench, and wasn't feeling too good. And all of a sudden, President Monson came and just struck a conversation with her and talked to her for a minute. And like maybe 20 minutes later, the door opened, and my buddy comes out, and he sees his daughter talking with the president of the Mormon church. And he said, "What did you do?" And he said, "Oh, she's fine. And I want to have you come up and talk to me, your family." And so they go up and talk to him. And he's up there and he prays for her, which is awesome. Did I lose y'all?
No, we're listening.
Okay. He prays for her. And then they go home. And 2 weeks later, it's like 3:00 in the morning. My buddy wakes up and he hears a thud, like someone fall down the stairs. And they woke up and like, oh my, the only one that could have been there was this girl. And they get up and they run downstairs, and his daughter's falling down the stairs, and she's not breathing. And there's no pulse or anything like that. And they start crying and praying. And all of a sudden, believe it or not, she comes back and her brain is reset. And she, has gone on to do some awesome things in her life, through God's grace. So I'd be lying to say that I didn't believe that God did things through the LDS Church just as he does through other denominations, So,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted to share that with y'all.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
if we were, especially me, if I was ever any antagonizing, which sometimes I can be, specifically in debate, I apologize as well.
No worries, bro. I appreciate your grace
Of course,
and
man.
forgiveness.
Of course. Likewise.
I'll have to buy you guys a sandwich.
Thanks, man. I'm sure.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I just moved
I
back to
built
Texas, so I'm mostly
Yeah.
over there only during big events for some things. But no, appreciate it. Likewise.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
there's a sandwich in our neighborhood. It's called the Spicy,
Well, that
and
sounds good already.
it's a Philly steak and cheese. Well, the Baptists, we do, I'll argue to the death, have better food than everyone. It's true. So, but they make this Philly steak and cheese, but they put bacon in it as well, and the
Oh,
au jus
dude.
sauce is to die for. So
My mouth is
I'll hook
watering
y'all up.
already, man.
Yeah. So anyway, but I care about you guys and love y'all in the Lord, and I'm glad that it's nice to see an LDS person know some Hebrew. I think that's awesome. Props. I struggled in Hebrew, but I still love it.
I don't even know if we got into the Hebrew. We were more in the Greek in the New Testament, but yeah, I know what you mean.
We got into the Hebrew a little bit, Henry. So
Yeah,
yeah.
just a
Yeah,
little bit towards the end, I guess.
yeah. And I would check out Michael Eisner's book, the Invisible Realm or the Unseen World. Yeah, Unseen World. He goes through a
I think it's
dissertation
called the
of
Unseen Realm, actually.
Unseen
I
Realm.
think
Yeah,
so.
Johnson realm.
yeah,
Something similar to that, yeah.
yeah. He goes through Psalms 82, and he answers a whole bunch of questions, and really cool. Sent me on a spiritual roller coaster, but I thought it was awesome. So check that book out. It's really good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
I
is.
like Michael Heiser. I've read him a lot. And as a matter of fact, him and he responds to Mark Smith's book, The Origins of Biblical Monotheism. Heiser did a paper covering what Mark said in his book and stuff like that. Basically, he concedes to what Mark is saying because historically it's accurate, but he talks about the justification on how his scholarship would interpret Psalm 82 and Deuteronomy 32 and stuff like that. They go
Yeah,
back and
and
forth.
yeah, I love that stuff. But that book was just so awesome, and it answered so many questions, like the Nephilim. You know, where they come
Mm-hmm.
from, and you know why did they survive the flood, and you know what happened, and who all this stuff, and like, whoa, never thought about that. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
pretty cool stuff. Anyway, get I can give you my email if you'd like
Shoot me a
to do
DM.
our yeah. Yeah, I don't even know how to
Just
do that,
follow
bro.
Lion, and we'll try to set something up. Lion's in Utah, so he might be more likely to do it sooner. I'm
Okay.
only there whenever there's like big events happening.
So I'm gonna shoot this. I'm gonna shoot a thing right now.
Yeah, shoot me a message on here, and let's see if we can get something set up for like a live discussion. Let's get something set up.
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to. But anyway,
Are you in
I
Utah
appreciate
County,
you.
Guitar Man?
I am. I live in Eagle Mountain.
Okay, see, I moved from Vineyard. Every Thursday, I would go and talk to my friend Zach from Rashi Christie, and I would meet them at the corner. There's a corner over on BYU's campus that they meet up every Thursday. But me and my Jewish friend Sneer would always go and debate / have
So
like a conversation.
they've got a new Chabad in Lehi now.
Oh, really?
Rabbi Chaim. Yeah. So and it's pretty cool. He's extremely kosher, which is awesome. And so yeah, he's helped me a lot with my Hebrew as well.
I have to message Sneer because he goes to the one in Salt Lake.
That's cool. So he
I
has
don't even know.
so he's got family members that are in type with Modest Yahoo.
Yeah, I think so.
So he's trying to bring him out here.
It's his rabbi is his neighbor, the one that he meets in Salt Lake. But they live in Lehi, though. They both live
Yeah,
in Lehi, so it's kind of weird that they go to Salt Lake.
pretty cool. But yeah, Rabbi Chaim is awesome.
Mhm.
Pretty good guy.
Cool. Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. And again,
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
take care,
appreciate
man.
your grace.
thank
Likewise.
you. Thanks for coming up, man.
No worries, boss. Yeah.
See ya.
You know, I'm hoping that we were able to at least work through some of this guy's trauma after having grown up in Utah and faced the religious persecution that he claims to have received as a kid. At the same time, there is something to be said about biblical literacy and what actually is stated in the text itself. The text does say that there is a hierarchical structure, and that hierarchical structure was meant to continue. The issue is not that it ended, but that it wasn't meant to. And why did it end? But let me know down in the comments below. Is there something from your study of the biblical text that actually showcases an actual hierarchical structure to the church that Jesus and the apostles set up? Is there something just kind of nebulous? A church is just a simple gathering of folks? Let me know.